Okay, I finally caved in and decided that I'm going to do some inspiration sticks. Now I haven't actually received my, I haven't received the sticks yet, but I thought, well, I'm getting at 100. So I thought I'll go through on my old scrapbooking embellishments and also some things I've received in swaps and Happy Mail, and I came up with a random lot of things that I would put in. Now, one of the things that I have been wanting to get rid of for a really long time is a massive bag of these cardboard stars that I had, and I bought them for like, I don't know, 50 cents for 200 stars, which is a bit insane. Now, I don't want to keep them in silver and gold, so they are obviously going to become a large feature in my bucket of sticks. My bucket of sticks is actually going to have to go into some kind of large pail because 100 sticks is quite a lot. So I'm just deciding where I'm going to get a pail or use one of my existing pails. I do have existing pails, but I have paint and things in them, so I'm like, but I'll start the process anyway. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I've got some cupcake embellishments. I've got one tall tree, which I figured would be really cool. I'd glue it and then it would stand up really tall, so it's going to have a really cool jump start on it when I do that. And of course all these stars. Now these ones over here I'm going to leave alone because they look gorgeous the way they are, and I don't mind them looking plain. I'm using metal as well as wooden and plastic, and even some bits and pieces like, you know, just charms and things like that I've gotten through Happy Mail swaps and bits and pieces. And I think to myself, well, where will I use them all? And you know, I sometimes use them on book spines and things like that, but I've decided that I want to have a bit of variety in all of these. So one thing that I thought that I would do is just pre-gesso everything, and this is the one time where I'm wishing that I had a gesso spray. Okay, well I've gessoed them, but what I'm actually going to do now is spray them while the gesso is still wet. And I've decided that I'm going to use some Delusion sprays, and I want some really nice bright poppy colours. Which will look just awesome. Okay. And maybe a red. And the whole idea is to let this sort of all go in. I think I'll just finish off with that yellow. And I'm going to let this dry just as it is. Ooh, made some mud. And I think that the background of this, when I lift all these shapes off, that background on that scratch paper is going to look really, really awesome. Now I'm just going to let all that dry. Okay, well, all these stars are now dry, and I'm just popping them up off their scratch paper, and of course a little bit of that gesso will have gone underneath and stuck to some of the paper, but that's the idea. Have a look at that. I love the images left by on the scratch paper. pretty darn cool. This is when all the delusion spray come in very, very handy. Oh, I'm loving it. Right, so I'm just going to pop these aside and flip this paper over because I think this background will now become incredibly distracting. That looks a lot better. Right. Oh, bugger. Some of the stars went back into a pot of gesso, which is fine actually. So now what I'm going to do is, I've got my hands spotted with gesso. And, okay, they're a bit dry. Now what I'm actually going to do, oh, let me just close this door, is you should never spray paint inside, but I'm just going to kind of stop it. So I'm going to just do bits tiny. I'm not going to open the full spray because I just want to get some spots, and you can see some of those spots happening. Just little bursts. So I like the spot look, and I want them all to have it. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so these are all dry, and the only one I had to glue anything on was this one here because I just kind of wanted to make it a bit of a funky flower. But essentially what's happened is I'm going to pull out some of these as well, because I'm going to pull my alcohol inks out and do some decorating on these glossy surfaces. A lot of the other charms I'm just going to leave as is, but I like the idea of this kind of abstract, drippy kind of idea for these inspiration stick things. And you know what, I don't even know if I've got 100 here yet, but I'm not in the mood to count them right now, but I've got a lot. I can guarantee you I've got a lot. So I've got some patinas as well as alcohol inks, and I tell you what, I love this Ranger patina, and it's for metal, so I really love using it for, I have an alcohol ink in raspberry. Those new colours that came out were just absolutely divine. I have denim. Just having a bit of a look for any furthers. Oh, I have stream. Beautiful. Okay, so that's kind of the look that I'm going for, and essentially I'm going to try this out. Yeah, so I'm really going to just kind of sprinkle them over. Okay, so just quickly, I've just these are all dry, but we're just about to have a really big storm here where I am at the moment, so I can't actually do the gloss spray on them because I think it's going to pour with rain and hail before I actually get them dry. But what I'm going to do instead is I've got some embroidery cross-stitch floss here, and I'm going to pick out some of the bits and pieces, and I'm going to just put some frothy things out the front of these before I glue them on, because I've got some random kind of things there, but I never intended to just have them there, and I could use some small ribbons or... Okay, so I decided that after doing one with the floss, and I've got that one here, I thought, oh, it's not really chunky enough. So I decided that I would use some organza ribbons. You can see that's quite cute, and a few with a cord and thicker ribbons. So I've got some of those there. But what I'm going to do is just start applying. Okay, so cleared that out. So I'm just using some gold kindy glitz, and I've got some stickles, and it's called Crystallize. Just because I want to do something a little bit different. And I'm not usually a glitter person, but if it's suspended in glue, I will make allowances. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of doodling, because I think I can get away with it. Okay, so I did actually order some tongue depressors of on eBay, but when I went looking through Linkcraft today, and I found these packets of coloured depressors, and I thought, oh, that'll make it easier for me to actually finish off this program, and they're pre-coloured. So I don't necessarily want all these hugely bright colours, and some of them are a bit bent, but that doesn't matter. So what I've decided to do is get some gesso and just pretty much whiten them up and have a good go at kind of lightening them up a little bit so that they go with the decorations that I've got on top. So these have ended up coming out really quite well. I've got some stars, and I ended up going over them with kindy glitz and stickles and things like that, and left some plain, added some details in for some of the others, so we'll see me popping them on after I finish doing this. So essentially all I'm going to do is get a wet brush and just start layering some light gesso on, and I kind of don't want to do it so that it's really really bright or white. So I'm just kind of using a watered down gesso that lightens it up a little bit, enough so that when I write on it, it's going to look pretty cool and it'd be easy to write on with a dark pen, because with the dye in these, you don't know whether that will bleed through the white pen, but you'll still see the colour of the sticks through, and of course the gesso won't actually dry as white as what it goes on, particularly if you're watering it down like I am. As you can see, I have put a light coat of gesso over all those sticks, and of course the heavy paint that they've got that's underneath soaks through, right? Just enough for me to be able to have some tooth to be able to put some marker on there when I'm writing out my prompts. Now I'm essentially using the majority of Claudia's jump starts, because that was a collaboration between Claudia, Gina and I when we sat down and brainstormed it one day. But I also want to talk about the fact that I was chatting to a friend of mine, Letha, the other day, and she was saying to me that she was going to make some prompts that were specific to products that she didn't use very much. And I thought that was a really great idea, so I went through and added some more prompts of my own, because I intend on doing 100 sticks, and there's only 84 here, so I've got another 16 to do when the other sticks turn up. And I just thought to myself, you know, we should really take that on board and make these projects our own. And unique to our products that we have and the things that we like. So in mine, I've actually done quite a few prompts that have more drawing in them and pencils and that kind of thing, because that's the way that I'm leaning, and I like to put some kind of those elements in a lot of what I do. But I mean, it's entirely feasible that the majority of times that I pull sticks out, I won't be pulling those prompts out. So it's just one of those things that you just need to tailor this project to what you want to do, what you like to do, and to also think about challenging yourself to use products that you have on hand and you don't know how to use them, or you want to learn to use them more, or you want to force yourself to learn a new skill and therefore create sticks that force you to go down that path on a page, no matter how good or bad it is. So I think it's really important for you to think about, you know, how will I make this project work for me with my particular circumstances and the products that I have. And that was just something that I wanted to chat about prior to just sticking all the top bits on that I've decorated and then writing all the prompts on. Right, okay then, I'll be back and I'll show you what they look like when they're finished. Okay, so I finished gluing everything on. I'll just start with the ones that I actually had to use some hot glue guns on, and I just basically had a couple of charms that I really wanted to use that had been given to me at various times this year. and kind of meant something. And then I'm really pleased with how these ones turned out. They're not quite dry yet, so I haven't written on them, but I'm really happy with the glittery nature of them, and it's totally sealed, so I don't, you know, those of you that know I have a glitter disability and abhorrence of the way that glitter gets in every crevice in my home will know that, yeah, I wasn't really fussed on it. But when it's encased within a glue, and also too, I want to get rid of a lot of my glittery kind of mediums as well, so I thought that was a great way to do it. And I'm just trying to find some of the other little charms and buttons and bits and pieces that I had. Okay, here's the end, and I have finished all the sticks. Now, some of them I've used a white gel pen to write the prompt on, like this one is use water-soluble media. But most of them I've used a dark pen, and on this one I've said add a coloured stamp with markers. So I've added some things in here that are specific to supplies that I've got. I've got one here saying add something with crayons or pencils. I'm getting a lot of pencils for Christmas. Add 3 words, random words in at least 3 pages. So I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I didn't find a bucket, but what I did find was this kind of grassy kind of thing, and it's a little bit flexible, which I like, and it fits the 86 sticks in there, and I can fit probably another few more. As I was going through the prompts, I found that there were some duplicates, so I cut the duplicates out. And I left some things out that I thought, nah, I don't like doing stuff like that. And then I added things in that were, you know, more in keeping with the sort of things I want to be doing. Like I've got one in there that says use your ink text blocks, because I don't use them as much as I'd like to use them. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to use them if the prompt says, and I'm using the sticks. So some of them are product based and some of them are technique based, and I like that kind of you know, I like the way that works. So anyway, that's the end of my tutorial on the way that I'm doing these, and I hope you enjoyed it.